Okay, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Ryan Joy, class of 2006, a very proud Clarkson alumni. This will be the second Clarkson cruise. I hosted the last one in the Caribbean with Celebrity on the Reflection, and this year it was all about how can we level up. And so we have the Celebrity Edge, and we are going to Alaska, and I think that is a great way to level up. As of right now, we recorded last night, 2 weeks till Christmas. I forgot to hit record initially, but I remembered to hit record just before I kicked things over to Jenny Hall from Celebrity to kind of go through the entire cruise in detail. So I'm just re-recording this intro right now. I want to thank you for attending last night if you were there in person. I also want to thank you if you're watching this on the replay. I'm super excited for the 2026 Clarkson cruise. I think everybody had an amazing time when we went in April last year to the Caribbean, and this is just going to be that much more special as we head to one of the most sought after regions in all of cruising. So I hope to see you there. And with that, I'm going to kick things over to Ginny Hall from Celebrity, who is going to run through the ship, the sailing, and before we're done, we're going to talk about the amazing group discount and details that we have. So hope to see you in Alaska.
All right, thank you. Well, hello everybody, and thanks for taking time out of your evening to come and spend and learn more about this amazing cruise that Ryan is putting together for all of you. As he mentioned, I'm Jenny Hall. I'm a key account manager with Celebrity Cruises. I'm actually standing in for my wonderful colleague, Alex Frady, who has come down with the flu. But I'm actually delighted to get to do so because I literally was just on this exact ship doing this exact itinerary just a few months ago. So I can really share some insight. We're just going to take a look at the ship herself. We're going to look at the itinerary and we're going to look at some offers that are in play. And so first of all, we always say the ship is your first destination, but this particular ship is going to a truly stunning destination, which of course, as you know, is Alaska. So I've got a little video for you and then we'll start digging into some details.
It's
Ah,
such
it
a
just makes
small victory, but it's a big one when the video works over Zoom. So
and it just makes me want to go back. So Ryan has selected an absolutely fabulous ship for your group, for your itinerary. It's the Celebrity Edge. This is the first in what we call our Edge series of vessels. The defining characteristic of an Edge series vessel is that orange platform that you see on the side. It's a moving platform. It has a number of different uses. One of them you will not use it for on this itinerary, and that is when it's down on a low deck. We use it for embarkation and debarkation from tenders. But most of the time that you're on this cruise, it will be a bar or a lounge. And then when it's up on the higher deck and on one night of the sailing, we convert it to a specialty restaurant, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But this ship, if it's full at double occupancy, it's going to be at 2,918 guests. If we have some triple and quad occupancy cabins. If it's totally full, which it really never is, it still is less than 3,400 guests. So as Ryan mentioned, we are a premium brand. We sail medium-sized ships. And so where this really translates in the premium space is that our ships are a little bit bigger than the other ships that are in the premium space. but that allows us more things to do, more entertainment, more dining options, more spaciousness, very few lines, never any crowding. So I think you're really going to be delighted with this particular ship. Now, some of the inventory that I would say most of the inventory that's been held for this group is what we call infinite verandas, which is what you're looking at right here in this photo. So, if you have ever cruised before, if you've had a traditional balcony stateroom, you know you have a sliding glass door and then you step out onto that balcony into the open air. Well, in Alaska in particular, these infinite verandas are so much better because the way it works is that the veranda is incorporated into your stateroom square footage. So your carpet will go out to a certain point, and then the carpet ends, and the floor changes over to a tile flooring that you would find on a typical veranda. Instead of having a sliding glass door, you have those bifold glass doors there that you see in the photo. And then you have a button on the wall that will raise or lower the upper half of the window. So you lower down that upper half of the window, that becomes your veranda railing. And now you have essentially an open air veranda, but you have walls on either side all the way out that protect you from the cold and the wind that you often encounter on Alaska sailings. So these are just absolutely ideal for this particular itinerary. Also, there's another button in the wall that lowers a blackout shade, and these are extremely effective. So if you're looking to sleep late, you can definitely do that. The blackout shades will keep the room nice and dark for you until you're ready to raise them. Also, it's interesting about those bifold glass doors because I really couldn't think of an actual purpose for them because, it's not like a sliding glass door that actually protects you from the outdoors. But the fact of the matter is, when the ship is in port and on occasion, you may be within eye line of a different ship, and you want to have privacy in your stateroom, you can actually pull those glass doors across, and that way you can still have light coming in from the window without having to lower that blackout shade for privacy. So these are really, really ingenious the way that they designed, and again, they're called infinite veranda staterooms.
Yeah, and I
Now
wanted to
these are
mention that we
Oh
do have
yeah.
some of the other traditional verandas available, but almost everybody has booked those infinite verandas.
They're very popular. And I'll tell you another thing. Be sure you pack your binoculars for this trip. I cannot tell you how much time I spent with my binoculars, leaning with my elbows on that railing right there and just looking out. I saw some sheep up in the mountains. I saw whales. I saw bald eagles. So be sure you pack your binoculars. And this is a great viewing spot just to take it all in. These are some scenes from around the ship. On the left, that's our rooftop garden. On the upper right, that's one of our multi-use facilities. It's called the Club. Certain nights there will be production shows in there. There are other nights where we have karaoke with accompanied by a live band. Our cruise director's staff will host game shows and things in there. There's always things going on in there. The lower right is actually our theater where we have full theatrical productions on certain nights of the cruise. And these are not just singers and dancers, but acrobats, hand balancers, aerialists. It's quite a production. And then other nights we might have just a soloist singing or a comedian or a magician, but there's every night of the cruise, there's always a spectacular show in there, and every show is performed twice. So no matter what time you're having dinner, you'll always have an opportunity to see the show. On the upper row in the center, that's on the aft end of the ship, that's called Eden. That is a beautiful multi-use space. It's kind of whimsically decorated in a Garden of Eden theme. There's an open kitchen restaurant. So if you're a foodie and you love watching chefs prepare the food, you can sit around the open kitchen, or you can sit over by those beautiful windows and just enjoy the view on the aft end of the ship. And then, of course, what you see in the lower photo there, that is actually the private plunge pool in one of our suites, but we do also have other pool facilities for you to use if you choose not to book a suite. Dining is spectacular. Now, what you're looking at right here are our four main dining rooms. So again, if you've cruised before, and if it was not on a Celebrity Edge series ship, you're probably accustomed to one big multi-level dining room that you would enter off multiple different decks. So on our Edge series vessels, instead of having one big dining room, we actually have four separate dining rooms. Each one of these will have its own menu of menu items that are particular. For instance, like Tuscan is going to be Italian, Cyprus is going to be Mediterranean, Normandy is going to be French. So they will have some specialized items, but let's say that you're assigned to dine in Normandy at 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m., whatever time the dining time is. Well, maybe you like Normandy, you like sitting there, you like the surroundings, but you'd really like to try something off one of the other menus. Well, all you have to do is ask your server, and they will bring you a menu from any of the other restaurants that you can order off of if you would like to. Or if you just want to go try out the other ones, all you have to do is go stand in line at the whatever the other one is that you want to try, and we will get you seated. We're very flexible with our dining on Celebrity, and I think that's something that our guests really appreciate is you might be assigned to a certain time and a certain table, but on this vessel in particular, you just go where you want. And almost always, I mean, I've never once gone and lined up at a dining room and not been able to just get right in and sit down. We
I can tell
also
you,
have, sorry.
I thought I would share like what some of the Clarkson people that we had on the last cruise, what they did, and I'm sure it'll happen here, is we would go up to the dining room, we'd say, hey, we'd like to get our table, and they'd say, you know what, it's going to be about 10 minutes or whatever. Then we would all go over to the martini bar, which is a beautiful bar on the celebrity ships. We'd all get our martinis, and by the time that first one was done, our table was ready. So that happened
Yeah,
a lot.
it always works out. There are two exclusive restaurants on this particular ship. One of them is Lumine, and that is for it's part of what we call the retreat. So anyone who books a suite on Celebrity has access to the retreat, and the retreat has its own restaurant called Lumine. So that's what you see on the left there. And then on the right-hand side, that restaurant is called Blue, and that's for our guests who book Aqua Class. Now, Aqua Class has a package of privileges. Well, I wouldn't say like a whole package, but Aqua Class is curated around the concept of wellness. And so it will be a desirably placed veranda stateroom, but automatically included with Aqua Class, you get the pass to the Sea Thermal Suite, which is so wonderful. And I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. You also get some complimentary fitness activities, and you get to dine in this exclusive restaurant called Blue. And again, in Blue, the menu is more curated around the concepts of clean eating and wellness. But trust me, we're not making you eat lettuce and alfalfa sprouts all day. The food is really, really good.
And you can still order the French fries from the other restaurant, I think, right?
Which are really good also. Um, and then we do have what we call specialty restaurants. So when you dine in those four dining rooms that I mentioned before, or if you are in Aqua Class and you dine in Blue, or if you're in a suite and you dine in Lumine, that's all included in the price of your cruise. There's no upcharge for any of that. But we do have other restaurants if you would like to try them. And trust me, you can eat very well all day, every day, and not spend a penny extra. But if you would like to, we have wonderful specialty restaurants. On the upper left, it's called Le Petit Chef. And that is an animation. It plays down onto the table, and it's a tiny chef, and it's got a little story. And you've got the tiny chef preparing your meal. And when the chef For instance, when the chef finishes the salad, the animation goes off and then the server puts your salad down. And so you eat the salad that the chef prepared. It's quite entertaining. It's really dinner and a show. Then we also have Raw on Five, which is a sushi and Japanese restaurant. Fine Cut Steakhouse. If you're a steak lover, this particular restaurant was awarded a Forbes 4-star restaurant at C rating. It's very, very good if you enjoy steaks. We also have the Rooftop Garden Grill, and then the Magic Carpet. That's what that orange platform is that I mentioned to you a minute ago. That's called the Magic Carpet. And one night of each sailing, we convert it to a specialty restaurant for what we call dinner on the edge. Now, Alaska is cool and especially cool in the evening. So we have a really nice touch that we provide for you, which is when you come to have dinner on the edge, you'll find a blanket folded across the back of each chair. So you can wrap yourself in a blanket. And by the way, on this ship, on all of our ships, we have celebrity logo towels that are available for you to take as many as you want, whenever you want. If you've cruised with other brands, you know, a lot of times you have to show your card and check out how many towels you're going to have and return your towels and get them checked in, or they're going to charge you for it. We're a premium brand. We don't do that. We know you're not going to steal the towels. But we also, on this particular ship where all the towels are out on the pool deck, we also have stacks of blankets. So, you know, with Alaska and even in the summer, you never know what the weather is going to be like, but it is just wonderful. It is so nice to sit out there, get those blankets, wrap them around you, put one on your lap, sit out there on a deck chair and just watch the beautiful scenery go by. It is a really, really wonderful experience. This is a look at some of the other spaces. Speaking of that martini bar, that's what you see there in the upper right. What you don't see is our flair bartender shows that happen out there. We have these people that I swear they have spent their whole entire lives learning how to do this. I mean, they're throwing bottles, they're pouring drinks on their shoulder or on their forehead. They're doing all these crazy tricks. I don't know how in the world they do it, but it's called, if you look in the program each day, you'll see it's called the Chandelier Show. And it's usually on the hour, maybe around like 8 p.m., 8:39, and they'll play one song. And for the entirety of that song, these bartenders are doing all these cool tricks. So it's a don't miss it feature. Really a lot of fun. It's something that we're very well known for. In the upper left, you see the pool. Sometimes the pool is not super popular on Alaska sailings because it can be a little chilly, even though we do heat it up some. But in the lower right, you see what we call the solarium, and that is a completely indoor pool. So you can still enjoy the pool. You can enjoy lovely hot tubs. And we do, in the lower left there, you see our camp at sea. We do welcome children on board Celebrity. I will tell you, we don't get very many at all, but we have an award-winning program for children. And then within the what we call the solarium, that's the adults only space that you see in the lower right there. That typically is adults only. However, because Alaska is chilly and a lot of times you can't really enjoy the outdoor pool, we'll have 1 hour to 1.5 hours in the evening so that people can bring their children and just let them swim in the pool. It's not disruptive to the adults' enjoyment of the space, but it is just to give these little ones a chance to paddle around a little bit in the pool. But again, you would swear sometimes that there's maybe only half a dozen kids on the ship because you just really don't see that many. Usually there's more, but you think it's only half a dozen because you just never see them at the same time.
I will
Uh,
say, I will say, I talked to some parents. Actually, nobody from our group brought kids on the last cruise that we did, but I talked to some parents who had kids, and they said that their kids actually love it because they have that kids space mainly all to themselves. So,
that's it. A
yeah,
lot of
so
one-on-one attention. We do more STEM-based activities, things like building robots and racing drones, and the kids just have a fabulous time. But you're right, there just aren't that many. So they get a lot of one-on-one attention. So here we go. This is the sailing that Ryan has selected. We've talked about the ship. We've given you a little look at what you can expect on board this ship, what she's going to look like. And you see the date there, August 14th. So let's just take a look at your itinerary. So it's a 7 night sailing. It's going to begin and end in Seattle. Your ports are Ketchikan, Dawes Glacier, Juneau, Skagway. You're going to go through the Inside Passage. You'll stop in Victoria, BC, and you have 2 days at sea. And those are really nice. That's your big opportunity to take advantage of the spa and the onboard activities and things like that. People love days at sea because they can be very relaxing. What you see there in the lower right, that is the ship in front of Dawes Glacier. And when we sail up into that glacier, the captain, he gets very close and then he'll turn the ship multiple times. He'll just turn it so that no matter where you are on board that ship, you still have the opportunity to see everything. And we have a naturalist who comes on board and will be speaking over the ship's PA system just to make sure you know what you're seeing and you don't miss anything. If there's something that your attention needs to be directed to, the naturalist will make sure you see it. It's a really, really spectacular experience. So your day one is in Seattle. The ship will sail at 4 p.m. If you have not spent time in Seattle before, I highly, highly recommend you either go in a day or two early or stay a day or two after. Seattle has so much to offer. There's so many cool things to see there. You've got to go see the Pike's Place Market, go up in the Space Needle, go to the Chihuly Glass Museum. I never knew that glass could be so beautiful until I went to this Chihuly Glass Museum. But Seattle is just brimming with amazing things to do. So make sure you take advantage of that. And it's always advisable anyway to fly out the day before your cruise departs because, with all the uncertainty in the airlines and one thing and another, just get yourself there a day early. Take the time to explore Seattle. You can go earlier to the ship and you're not in any danger of anything happening with your flight that's going to stress your life.
I
Um,
can't say for certain that this is going to happen, but I have been talking with the alumni office about doing a Seattle alumni chapter event the night before the ship leaves. So that would be a cool thing for us to have a Clarkson chapter event out there that we could attend. Totally optional. Nobody has to, but like just thought that would be a fun thing to do to meet some of the local alumni there.
Absolutely.
Last
That
one I
sounds
saw was in
great.
Redmond.
Say it again.
The last one I saw was a meetup up here was in Redmond, which is east of the water. Not
Okay.
a very big deal if you're not traveling during rush hour, but just a heads up, if it's in Redmond, it's a bit of a trek from Seattle. But there is a ton of fun stuff right near like Pike's Place and stuff, or if people want to go exploring, even just near where they're going to get on the boat.
Awesome. Jen, are you in Seattle?
Kirkland. I'm east of the lake from Seattle.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
And there's tons of hotels too. So it's never a problem to find a hotel that's within whatever you would like to spend on your hotel. You can certainly find one. But take advantage of that. The next day is your first day at sea. It gives you a chance to get to know the ship, to do some of the activities. We have fun things on board this ship. They have axe throwing, but it's like not real axes, and they have archery, but it's not with like actual arrows that you can hurt somebody. But there's, the cruise director's staff all day long. They're offering all kinds of fun activities, things to do. You got to try out the food. We have this wonderful, wonderful coffee bar called Cafe Il Baccio. You can go get your fancy coffees there. You can get pastries. You can get afternoon tea. We have a beautiful, huge buffet called the Ocean View Cafe that is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack, and late night pizza. So there's tons and tons of things to do. You definitely want to take advantage of the spa. I highly recommend that you purchase the spa pass, and I'll tell you why. And I don't know, I don't my colleague put this presentation together and I don't think there was a spa slide in it. So there's a beautiful spa on this ship called the Sea Thermal Suite. And you can purchase a pass that gives you unlimited access to all the therapy areas that are within the suite. So there are these heated thermal loungers. There's a salt therapy room. There's heat therapy. There's steam therapy. There's cold rain therapy. There's all kinds of different therapies in there. And that's all included with that all access pass. But the other thing that's really great about it is the day that this ship goes and sails up into Dawes Glacier, there's a private viewing area right off the spa that's only accessible to people that have that spa pass. And so you can be right there, right on the bow of the ship, just as close as you can get to that glacier with very few people around, uninterrupted views where you can get great pictures. And so not only do you just get to just love that spa for the whole week, but you have that wonderful viewing area for the glacier. Okay, so your first actual port of call, this is on day 3. This is Ketchikan. Ketchikan is such a cool city. So it has what used to be a red light district, and now that's been converted to all these really cute shops. They have amazing seafood. You can get your Alaskan king crab. You can watch the salmon running up the river. I have never seen anything like this. The river was packed with salmon. And you can see them, going up the river for spawning. You've got the Totem Bite State Park that you can visit for these authentic Inuit carved totem poles. So there are just so many things to do. And those are everything that I just told you is actually very close to the port. There are also excursions that you can book that will take you further afield. There's lots, just so much to do. Another thing I will point out, if you've ever heard about Alaska cruises, some cruise lines have more premium berthing space than others. We have great berthing space, so we're always tied up right at a pier. There are other cruise lines that actually have to anchor out in the harbor and then run their people back and forth to the pier using tendering vessels. So Celebrity is a great choice when you visit Alaska. That's just yet another reason. But this is a wonderful port to visit. The next day, you have Endicott Arm and Dawes Glacier. This is where you're going to have the opportunity to get those up-close photos of this beautiful glacier. It's beautiful scenery. Again, make sure you have your binoculars with you. This is where I was standing out there using my spa pass out in that spa viewing area, and way up high on the mountain there, I could see this tiny little white dot. And if you go on this cruise, I want you to use your binoculars and look for those tiny little white dots and look and see if they move. Because if they move, those are the Dall sheep that are, that's one of the things that Alaska is known for. That's one of the big 5 in Alaska is the Dall sheep. But you won't even realize that's what they are until you have your binoculars and see if they move. But it's just amazing, the wildlife that you can see and just the extraordinary scenery. It's just breathtaking. Then your next day, you're going to Juneau. Now, Juneau, as you probably know, is the capital of Alaska. It's the only U.S. capital that cannot be reached by road because of ice fields. So you have to either go in by ship or go in by a plane. You cannot drive a car to Juneau. But tons and tons of awesome things to do there. In Juneau, my daughter and I did a small group kayaking with whales experience. Highly recommend. You can do dog sledding. Again, there's a wonderful menu of excursions to choose from. So you can find just that perfect thing that sings to you in the voice that you want to hear and is going to give you that experience that you've been dreaming of. But beautiful, again, there's nowhere in Alaska that isn't beautiful. And you're going to hear me say that again and again and again, but lots and lots and lots of things to do there, lots of things to choose from. Now, Skagway, this is where I did my favorite excursion of the whole trip. We did small group helicopter trip to a glacier. So we rode the helicopter up to the glacier. We hiked around on the glacier for a while. They even let you drink the water out of the glacier melt because it's completely pure, completely clean. And then you ride the helicopter back down. If you've never been on a helicopter before, which I never had, it was just a breathtaking experience. But again, if that's not for you, you can do the railroad experience, you can do the sightseeing. You have plenty of time in port, so you don't have to do just one thing. You can go walk around and experience the town, get some great food to eat. There's no shortage of souvenir shops in Alaska if you want to pick up some merch to take home with you or share with your friends and family members when you come back. It's a beautiful, beautiful destination. And then you're going to go through the inside passage. This is on now on your way back down south. You're going to pass through the inside passage, and this was carved out by glaciers eons ago. And this is your opportunity again to see extraordinary wildlife, extraordinary scenery. You always want to be looking out for those spouts in the distance because you almost certainly will see whales somewhere or multiple places during the cruise. And if you love whales, you can even go whale watching. We have whale watching. If you love fishing, you can sign up to go. I think it's salmon fishing. There's again, whatever it is that floats your boat, no pun intended, we have it. Then you have another day at sea for resting up from all of these great excursions that you've been doing. And by the way, we also have state-of-the-art fitness centers. So if you need a place to work off some of all this delicious food that you've been eating during the time that you've been on board with us, we offer not only state-of-the-art fitness equipment, but fitness classes. We offer some complimentary things like daily stretch classes. We offer complimentary Tai Chi. So again, there's so many different things to choose from that you can do during these days at sea, or even in the mornings or the evenings before or after you do an excursion. And then late in the day on day 7, you're going to arrive in Victoria, BC around 5:30 p.m. and you'll be there all the way just about until midnight. So that's a great evening to explore Victoria. Definitely look into that. Look up some restaurants that you might like to visit, some things you might like to do. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. A lot of history there. Butchered Gardens is in Victoria, and because it will be summer, it'll be staying light much later in the day. So if you enjoy something like that, I have been to Butcher Gardens. It's absolutely gorgeous. They're constantly changing the things out and keeping everything fresh and beautiful all year long. It's well worth the visit if you enjoy being around just gorgeous plantings and landscaping. And okay, so then then you will sleep that night and wake up the next day in Seattle, back in Seattle, and time to debark from the ship. So a few other things. Did you want to add anything to that, Ryan, in terms of any thoughts about the ports or any of that?
No, that was great. Yep, thank you.
Awesome. So in terms of your flights, now I do want to mention flights by celebrity because you can make your cruise booking and book your flight at the same time through Celebrity. And when you do that, it's a real air booking, it's a real reservation. You can reserve your seats, you can put in your frequent flyer number, all of that, but you don't have to pay for it at the time you make the booking. That flight booking gets added on to the cost of your cruise. And then you just pay it all off at final payment. Now, your flight will not be ticketed until it's been paid off at final payment. But it does give you the opportunity to take advantage of our lowest price guarantee, the pay later option, which is, again, you can make that flight booking tomorrow, but you don't have to pay it off until you make final payment on your cruise, which is 90 days to sailing. And of course, you'll get your frequent flyer points and all those things. So it's a nice benefit if you want to do it that way. If you have frequent flyer miles, then obviously you would just want to go ahead and make your own booking through your airline. But I did just want to mention this. And then we do have luggage valet service, and this is actually unique to Seattle. It's something that I wasn't even aware of until I actually looked at this presentation that my colleague put together. But this is an opportunity while you're still on board the ship for you to go ahead and check your luggage and get your luggage tags. And then leave that luggage with us, and we will transport it to the airport for you. If there are bag checking fees that are applicable, we will charge those to your onboard account. And we will just go ahead and handle all of this for you. So let's say that you want to debark the ship in the morning. You want to be because you're going to have to be off pretty early. You got to be off by like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And then maybe your flight doesn't leave until 3. And you'd like to have that day to just go explore Seattle, do some fun things, go get a nice lunch somewhere. You don't have to worry about your luggage. So you could go ahead and check it on board the ship and then just keep with you anything that you want to carry around with you that day that you're not intending. Well, I guess I should say you need to keep with you anything that you're planning to take as carry on board that flight. But anything that you want to check, we can handle that for you. We will transport it to the airport. You don't even have to think about it again. Now, the airlines that this program works with are Alaska Airlines, American, Delta, Horizon, JetBlue, Southwest, and United. Those are our partners in this program. So if you're flying with any of them, we can definitely handle checking your luggage for you. And then some offers that we have. So here, why don't you go ahead and talk to them about your pricing that you've secured, Ryan?
Yeah, I pulled this pricing like a year, year and a half ago, I think, as soon as it came out. So we have really, really good pricing. What's on on the slide here are the different room types that we have, and this is the price for two people, not per person. This is the price for two people, and it includes the classic beverage package and the classic Wi-Fi. Um, that means that I think that's like the drinks up to like $12 are included with that classic package. It might be 10 but something like that. But um, so that is a pretty high value item. But also, if you want, you can, and I'm going to say it's like $100 a person. You can upgrade both the Wi-Fi and the drinks for the entire sailing for like $100, and then it's like everything, everything's
Yep.
included, and that's what I do. And I mean, it's well worth it for me, because you go to the martini bar, and I think the drinks are about $17. So, and I mentioned the martini bar twice because even if you don't like martinis, those it's like a completely different experience than and what you might be used to. Espresso martinis in every flavor possible. But
Yep.
anyway, these are the prices. And like I mentioned, a lot of people are going for that infinite veranda, but we do have these other verandas, the porthole veranda, which is a little bit less expensive, but that is like your typical walkout veranda, but then there's like this big circular porthole. There's kind of like a wall there, but there's a big circular porthole that you can look out, but it is like the sit out balcony. And then we have the ocean view and the inside rooms that are less expensive as well. We do have some concierge rooms, which, concierge, you get some concierge service and they're in a prime spot. And those are also actually infinite veranda rooms. So
Yeah.
I think these are great prices for what you're getting. Now, if you wanted to book something that's not here, we can do that, and then we just would move you into the group.
Yeah.
And say, for instance, you didn't want the drinks and the Wi-Fi included. You're going to go off the grid and drink bottled water the whole time or from your water bottle. We can also do that, but we would do that separately and move it into the group. And you may get a little bit discount to do that as well. Um,
Yep.
Also, the um, this weekend, if you've watched this and you said to yourself, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. I do want to let you know that Celebrity is running some promotions over the weekend that are actually combinable with our group. And it comes out to they're doing a promotion this weekend. If you book tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, it's $300 off for all sailings, but then Alaska gets an additional $100. So there's like a $400 discount if you were to book this weekend. So if you did watch and you're like, I'm gonna do that, then it's a nice little perk that you're gonna get. Not that I'm pressuring anybody to be like, I gotta go ahead and
Right.
do it, but I just want to let you know that's available. So hopefully, like if you're thinking about it, you don't call me on Monday, you call me on Sunday. You know?
And also, we have this exclusive offer running the 11th through the 24th that if you go ahead and make your booking within that date range, you're going to receive $100 to spend during your cruise. So you could, if you wanted to upgrade that beverage package, you could use that $100 to spend on that. You could use it on a shore excursion. You could use it on a spa treatment. There's quite many things that you can use these onboard credits for. I did want to mention a few things with regard, first of all, concierge class, because there are some additional inclusions in that. So with concierge class, it is a nice, desirably placed veranda stateroom, one of the infinite verandas. It includes one night of the sailing. You can choose which night you'd like a bottle of chilled sparkling wine delivered to your stateroom to enjoy just maybe as you're getting ready for dinner. Every day, your stateroom attendant is going to drop off a selection of canapes for you to enjoy. On embarkation day, in the dining room, we have a luncheon exclusively for our concierge class guests. You'll receive an embossed key card wallet that will hold, it looks like a credit card. We call it the C-Pass card. That's not only how you unlock your door to get in, but it's also how you pay for everything on board the ship. It just puts everything onto your onboard account. So those are the additional inclusions of concierge class. We talked a little while ago about aqua class. Again, that's going to include your spa pass, some fitness activities, dinner in the exclusive restaurant Blue. And then if you should want to book a suite, whereas all the other bookings in this group will include the classic beverage package and the basic Wi-Fi. Every suite on Celebrity already includes the premium beverage package and the premium Wi-Fi, plus access to the exclusive restaurant Lumine, as well as the retreat sun deck and the retreat lounge. So those are all different categories that you can book besides what you see on your screen there. But I also just implore you, if you're ever going to book a veranda stateroom, book a veranda stateroom for Alaska, because there is so much to see all the time. And it doesn't matter which side of the ship you're on. You know, some people will say, oh, you should only book the land side of the ship. Well, guess what? On this ship, you're going north and then you're turning around and you're going south. So it doesn't matter which side of the ship you're on. And besides that, there still is always stuff to see on both sides of the ship. I mean, there's never a time when there's not something cool to look at. So you will get your money's worth out of a veranda on this particular sailing. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I think everybody booked Infinite Veranda except for maybe one or two people. And I mean, the logic there is that, you can be in a cold weather environment, and I know all of us know a cold weather environment. Um, you can be in that cold weather environment, but in the inside, sort of. So you're like inside and outside at the same time. So,
Yep.
like, yeah, I think almost everybody has booked that.
And for Alaska, we recommend that you pack clothing so that you can dress like an onion. You know, you can just peel off your layers if you need to, because in Alaska, you just never know what you're going to get. You know, you want to pack some nice lightweight rain gear. You want to pack some sweaters, but also it could be 80 degrees and you might wear shorts. I mean, just make sure you have, a nice little capsule collection of clothing for just about any weather eventuality, because you'll probably need them all.
Now, we did have Greg asked a question in the chat, and he asked about traveling alone. So you won't be paired with a roommate if you're coming alone, but I will let you know that the pricing that you saw on the screen there is not relevant. I would rerun different pricing for anybody that is traveling solo, and I would just work with you to get that rate, depending on which category you wanted to book. Also, since you brought it up, I will let you know that there are several alums that are coming that are traveling solo. And it's one of those great things about a group trip like this. If you are a solo traveler, sometimes people that are solo just they want to go on these trips, but they are like, well, I don't want to go alone. Well, that's what's great about a group trip is you will not be alone. So, because we'll all be there with you, and we will do a cocktail hour very early in the cruise, maybe even the first day, so that everybody gets to meet each other right off the bat. Um, kind of what I the kind of the way I like to set it up is you have like a welcome cocktail party, you have a farewell cocktail party, we'll have some sort of event in the middle, whether that be Clarkson trivia or something like that that I'll host. And then other than that, it's going to be like, hey, I'm wearing my bright yellow Kogo shirt and I'm on the top deck, so you'll be able to see me. Come hang out, type of things. Yeah. What other questions do people have? Okay.
One thing
Um,
I would mention about those solo bookings is we have a limited number of staterooms per sailing that we can allow to be booked as solos. And so I would urge if you do want to sail as a solo to book sooner than later, because once we've reached the capacity for how many they will allow to be booked as solos, they will not allow any more.
got it. Um, Demetrius, did you mean to raise your hand?
Yeah, I guess I've I've never actually been on a cruise before besides like a quick jaunt, I think, from Florida to some island.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm a little curious about these itineraries. Like some of them were frankly a little early for me. I'm not sure I want to get up that early. I mean, do you have to leave the ship or can you stay on the ship or what's the
Oh, listen, your schedule is your own. And most of our excursions, well, I can't say most, but the ones that I booked, there were numerous different times of day that you could choose to do it. So if the ship gets in at like 7 or 7:30 or 8 a.m., your excursion, you might choose an excursion that doesn't leave until 10 or something in the afternoon. If the ship is going to be there all day long, you might choose something that goes in the afternoon, or you might choose to not even book an excursion, but just get off the ship and go wander around town and see what you can see. A lot of people like to do that. So it really, your time and your schedule are your own. So we're just telling you what time the ship gets in and what time the ship leaves.
okay?
Two questions in the chat. Starting with Nate's question, what type of room options are available if we're bringing our teenager son, total of three people? Um, so with that, it's kind of the same as the solo. In terms of pricing, I would just kind of rerun everything. But Jenny, I think you can still do ocean view and balcony type rooms with three
Yeah,
people, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it just depends on how many triples are still available, but we do have triples on board this ship. So I would think that, especially if you book sooner than later, you should be able to find those.
Yeah. So for pricing, Nate, I would just work with you separately because it will be different for three people. But yeah, we'll have options. And then Jen, if we have friends we think would be interested, alumni and or not, would they be added to the group or would they book separately? They are welcome in the group. In fact, we've had people booking, for their like they're coming as an alum, but they also have a separate room that's like a family member or something like that. The rate is available for them too. So uh they can contact me and we'll book them and they can come to our cocktail parties and they can fail at Clarkson trivia, but they but they are welcome to come in
But
our
they might excel at the cruise director's staff's name that tune. So,
That's right.
Thanks.
and if you love casinos, there's a heck of a casino on this ship, and that's open whenever the ship is at sea. So that's another way people like to spend those days at sea.
Any other questions from the group?
There's a couple in chat already.
Oh yeah, there sure are. Okay. Excursions. Where can we find what is available and the costs? It's kind of hard to do before you book. but I'm already booked. So I can kind of give you a, I can take some screenshots and send them to you, Rick. Um, okay, for the pricing that I showed, not including the discounts, it is prior to final payment, and I believe final payment is May. Now, I do have a limited number of staterooms in each category. So that is kind of a first come, first serve. But my group pricing should be good through final payment, which I believe is for August, should be like May. Um, and then Pauline asked if there's a Denali extension available. There wouldn't be for this cruise because it's in and out of Seattle. The extensions that go to Denali are usually one-way sailings that would go from like Vancouver up to Juneau or Juneau to Vancouver. So there's not a Denali extension for this one.
If you really want to go to Denali, it would like Brian said, it wouldn't be a part of this group, but we have a wonderful product that he can help you with, and it's called the Alaska Cruise Tour, which
Yeah.
is a 7 night cruise between Seward and Vancouver, and it does include a land extension.
Yep, and I'd be happy to help you with that. Um, if Jenny, just while there's no more questions here in the chat, but could you back to that slide with the onboard credit?
Yeah.
Um, Demetrius asked, what kind of temperature does it get down to on these cruises?
Oh, it just depends. Alaska, the weather truly is, you just never know what you're going to get. You really don't. I was on the ship in August and it was chilly in the evenings. I mean, you definitely would want to have, jacket, long pants. But during the day, even in the ports where it said that it was going to be colder and we had our North Face jackets and all that, and we ended up taking them off because it was so sunny and
Right on.
you just never know. So you obviously, I always tell people, look at the forecast before you leave. And then, plan accordingly, but also take some contingency clothing items with you just in case.
Pauline's asking, how often do we run these Clarkson trips? Well, we've been doing a cruise one a year. This year we have a couple. So, I mean, in 2026, we have a couple of different trips, but at least once a year. Demetrius asked about dress code for certain times or locations on the ship. I think,
Yeah, so Alaska in particular tends to be pretty casual. One night of the sailing will have what we call evening chic, and what that basically means is whatever that means to you. So there are no more formal nights. There is no more, back in the old days, the men would bring tuxedos and the ladies would bring sequin gowns, and some people still do that just because they like to, although I haven't seen anybody like that on a ship in a while. But it's, for an evening chic night, the gentleman might want to wear, a sport coat. Maybe somebody will throw on a tie. You don't have to, though. It really, really, truly is whatever it means to you. We just ask people, please, not to probably wear shorts in the dining room at night. But other than that, you're good.
and Pauline asked if we can get a list of future trips. I can email you the ones that are going to be in 2026. So I will email this group those ones after the call. 2027 we haven't announced yet. So I can't do that. But
Get in your requests.
yes, the for celebrity, the 2027 sailings, they just announced a lot of the different deployments. So, like I mentioned before, how I got the Alaska stuff really early and got a good rate. That's how you do it. Is you get it as soon as the deployments are announced. So,
He did it exactly right. I'm telling you, if you look out there now at what we call prevailing rate on these sailings, you're going to really appreciate what a great job he did for you.
um, okay. So Pauline for so I'm a Clarkson alum. I'm also a travel agent with Creating Magic Vacations. She asked if I only do cruises. I can do pretty much any type of vacation that you can dream up. Um, but Celebrity only does cruises, and so far with Clarkson groups, we've only done cruises.
Cruises are just, they're so nice and so easy because you come on, you unpack once, you get to go to all these different places, you have this wonderful dining and entertainment and all of that right there at your fingertips. And it's just such a really easy, seamless way to travel
Yep,
and fun.
absolutely. Whether it's on the ocean, on the river, or an expedition to a place like the Galapagos, there's a lot to do on a cruise. A lot of places you can go.
You're right. Well, are we good on the questions, you
I
think?
I think so. I was going to mention with the OBC that offer is from Celebrity and it's good through the 24th of December. So,
And that is exclusively available through Ryan. You will not find that anywhere else. That's just specifically for him and for this group.
yeah. Scott asks about where the rooms will be and if there's better for those that may be sensitive to the ocean roll, can the sea time be rough? Okay, so the general logic is middle of the ship is the best. Our rooms will be dependent upon what's available. We have choice at at this point. So we can work on that. If you are sensitive to the ocean, then I would go midship, probably kind of high.
And you will find on ships of this size, you won't feel the motion nearly as much as you would on a smaller vessel. But I always tell people too, like if you do have those types of issues, get those pressure wristbands, get your patches, that people put behind their ears. I highly recommend. I love candied ginger is great for settling your stomach if you're feeling a little seasick. Just have a little bag of candied ginger with you. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I say most of the time with ships this size, there might be a couple of moments where you are like reminded that you're on a ship, but most of the time, unless you're real sensitive, you don't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times I don't even like I'll be doing something and it'll be, the day departure day and I'll be doing something and I'll come out and I'll look at my phone. Oh, we should have left by now. And I'll look out and we have left. Like we're not even in port anymore. And you just don't even know. They just move so quietly and so smoothly.
Yeah. Greg's asking about the boat, if it's electric or diesel. I have,
I'm sure that she burns some kind of fuel. Because we're definitely not plugging in when we're at a dock. So,
yeah.
um, other than that, I can't tell you. Never been in the engine room. I know that we do have a huge emphasis on sustainability and burning as clean as we can. Beyond that, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah, the whole cruise industry is actually really focused on sustainability.
I will tell you a funny story though. So I used to work at NC State University at the Alumni Association, and our director was a former Rear Admiral from the U.S. Navy. His name was Benny Suggs, and his wife and little boy wanted to go on a cruise so badly, and he would not go. He's like, I spent 30 years of my life on ships. I'm not going back on another ship. So when I ended up leaving the Alumni Association, I went to work for Royal Caribbean Cruises first within our brand family. That's one of our sister brands. And so then I and his wife and his son started working on him, trying to get him to go on a cruise. And finally, we convinced him to go. So he went, he had the time of his life, came home. I called him. I was like, okay, Benny, so what did you think about that cruise? What was the first thing you thought when you walked onto that ship? And I thought he was going to say, it was beautiful, it was spectacular. He said the first thing he thought was, where's the diesel fuel smell? No diesel fuel smell.
Uh, Greg said he thought the first slide indicated electric propulsion. Oh yeah, way back when we were in one of the early slides. I mean, Greg, I can probably get the answer for you, just not on the Zoom. I can
Yeah,
probably send you a link.
I think I can.
All right, I think we are it's 8:02.
Hmm?
Um, if people can have more questions, do feel free. You've all got my contact information, my email. I emailed you the calendar invite, and I emailed you a couple times today as reminders. So you've got contact information for me. Do feel free to reach out if you have a question. Probably somebody else does too. So that's all good. I did record this, so we're going to get this recording up as soon as possible so that people can watch. But I really appreciate everybody taking their time. I know we're a couple of weeks from Christmas. By the way, this would be a great Christmas present for yourself or for somebody else. Uh, but I really hope to see as many of you on the cruise as possible. I think it's going to be an absolute amazing time. But in the meantime, let's go tech.
Thank you very much.